Well, my biddies, how are you today? I hope you're well. I am okay. Except for this big giant. I'll just address the elephant in the room. You like my zit? Isn't it lovely? 62 years old, still getting zits, kids. Why? Thought you were supposed to outgrow this stuff in like your 20s. But no, don't worry, I'm working on it. Say hi in the chat. Um, how's everybody doing? My husband was not impressed by my toilet paper experiment yesterday at all. And I don't know why. Usually he's into that kind of stuff. It's like half. It's like half the weight between the two. It's crazy. It's insane. I can't even with that. You get I mean, it has two extra rolls in the bad one that weighs less. It weighs half what the other one weighs. And no, I didn't get the numbers. I was frustrated. I was frustrated with his uh answer. Um, ugh. So I can't even with him. Cannot even with him. What else? I'm really tired. I stayed up late and watched the last show with Stephen Colbert. That's what they were. That's what they're calling it. The last show. It was good. He kept it very upbeat. Um, if you haven't watched it yet, I recommend you go watch it. If you don't like Neil deGrasse Tyson, definitely go watch it. It's pretty funny. Okay. Having financial issues, not in a bad way, just in a frustrating way. They send you something and they tell you you have to have a code, and then they don't tell you what the code is. So making making the finance people do extra work or no work at all because my husband can do it. Um, so Bailing Out Loud is back. So also our reality roundup is Bailing Out Loud season 3 episode 1. It's time to party. Why they have bachelorette parties like 7 months, 4 months um before the wedding? Like a lot can happen in 7 months. Just saying. A lot can happen in 7 months. Why you already partying? I can see like within a month of it, but Liz's was 4 months out and Balin's is 7 months before the wedding. Like they haven't even planned the wedding and they're having the bachelorette party. Bizarre. Okay, so anyway, uh Balin and Colin are sitting for talking head to start. They're talking about the wedding. It's 7 months away and they have done nothing except procure the venue. Like literally nothing. Colin lists off all the things they haven't done, and Balin agrees they've done zero. Then Colin and Balin and the pups are visiting an apple orchard for their third anniversary. They've got the dogs in a baby carrier, like a sling, and in like a stroller. It's weird. I don't understand people. I really do not. Um, he's got a leash. It's a leash. She is wearing very inappropriate footwear. Colin calls them stripper heels. They're like really high heeled boots, 4-inch high heeled boots to go to the apple orchard. She says she just wanted to dress cute, which I appreciate, but girl, there are ways to dress cute without breaking your ankles. Okay. Uh, they interspace this talking head interview with orchard scenes. So they say their first date was at the apple orchard. Colin drove almost 2 hours to get there, and Balin was an hour late. He waited for her. Apparently, he was really into her. and she calls him sweet. The producer asks Colin, "Why did you wait?" And Balin goes, "Why did you wait?" And he starts giving this long explanation about, she hadn't done her hair yet. Balin interrupts and says, "You, you just really liked me," and he says, "I did." That's so cute. Um, she says she's happy and she seems genuinely giddy, and it's really nice to see her in this good of a mood. Um, they both seem very, very happy with each other. I hope that I hope that continues. At the orchard, she hits her head on a tree. She says, "I hit my noggin." And later, the Colin says they're looking forward to their bachelorette trip. They're having it together because they say they're best friends and they have so many friends in common. I saw somebody online say they did it because she doesn't trust him. Like, how can she not trust him? He has done nothing to not have her trust. I think they genuinely just like each other. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. I think it's weird to have the party together, but hey, if they want the party together, that's their choice, right? Am I wrong? No, I'm not wrong. They picked Asheville, North Carolina for their trip. Colin got the idea for a friend that the bride and groom picks the place and maid of honor and best man plan the itinerary. So that's what they decided to do. However, Sammy seems to have gone MIA. Sammy is Valen's maid of honors and her sister, her only sister. Sammy didn't like the idea of going to Asheville. She called it an inconvenience for everyone and then just stopped communicating altogether. So they have made the itinerary themselves, or at least hers. After the apple orchard, they're going to her parents, so she's going to talk to her mom about the issues. Balin arrives complaining about her shoes. Their mom is appalled that she wore them to the orchard. Um, but Balin brought donuts, so forget about the shoes. Al made a giant, heavy looking cross for the wedding. And frankly, I don't know how they're going to transport that thing. It looks like it weighs 200 pounds if it weighs an ounce. It's huge. It's like 8 to 10 feet tall. And I mean, thick, like tree trunk thick. Like, I don't even know. Like 8 by 8, I don't know, 10, 12 by 12, maybe. I'm bad at judging stuff like that. Um, I don't even know. Did they think about how they're going to transfer it? So I feel some cross drama coming in the future for sure. Balin and Colin have an idea for the dogs for the wedding. And please, please tell me that this was a producer idea because they come out with two little pink kids' electric ride on cars. Like, this is just ridiculousness. Just ridiculousness. They all were asked what dog would do the best, and they all agreed that Fluffy would. And Fluffy did well, as expected, and Tootsie and Pumpkin, aka Gilbert, according to Balin's dad Al, did not. Al thinks that Pumpkin looks like a Gilbert, and that's what he calls him, which I find funny. He just looks like a Gilbert. I don't know. What does a Gilbert look like? Gilbert Godfrey? That's the only Gilbert I can think of. Um, Balin's mom and she go to the kitchen to make pie with the apples from the orchard, and really they're going to go talk about Sammy or talk about the situation with Sammy. They make their filling and they're putting pie, putting it in. They made the filling. Okay. There's some drama about the knives and stuff, of course. Um, and they're putting it into pre-made pie crust, which would normally be fine, except these pie crusts are graham cracker crusts, and I don't think that's going to hold together with a really moist feeling because when apples cook, they release their moisture. So you want a big solid bottom for that, possibly even pre-cooked because you don't want a soggy bottom, as they say on the Great British Bake Off. I refuse to call it the Great British Baking Show because it's not. It's the Great British Bake Off. Pillsbury can go blame themselves. um, Balin says she's really mad and upset that Sammy, her only sister is treating her like this. Um, Her mom admits that both the girls come to her when they have issues to talk crap about each other, which is such a sister thing to do, I guess. Um, but I don't know about Sammy. Next, Colin and Balin are going to a place called the Happy Place, which is some kind of girl party boutique. Um, they seem to have lots of appropriate items for a bachelorette party and even clothes. So Balin finds a cute bride veil that she picks out and some dresses to try on. Colin doesn't even. Colin says he doesn't even not even get that he would. They were asked, "Do you how much closet space do you have?" He says, "I don't have any. I just don't get to use the closet at all." Um, Colin says he adores her even when she's being silly like this, and life is never dull with her. And he seems very happy, to be honest, which I love. Um, Colin says he likes her in the tightest clothes and that he likes cleavage. Balin says her parents are going to lose their minds, and he reminds her that they are not 12. She tries on and models various cute little dresses. She says it's motivating her to go to the gym, and she states that she can't have people calling me Balin to Waylon. And Colin asks why she's reading comments. Agreed. If you are on social media as a public persona, you don't read your own comments. People are mean. People are so mean, and it is not pleasant to have people insult you on social media. I know personally, and I'm not even famous. I'm not even YouTube famous. I have 8 subscribers. 8 subscribers, and nobody ever makes a comment. But I know how that feels because I've had people do it to me for a job I had because they didn't like me telling them the rules and telling them no. And I was a bitch for it. Oh well, you want to disparage me? I don't care. I seriously do not care. um, Colin says Balin is the most beautiful woman I've ever met. That's so sweet. So she picks a disco ball dress, if you know what I mean. You know what I mean. And says everything except Sammy is up for the trip. Balin doesn't know who is buying the decorations for the party because that would have been Sammy's job. So Colin is going to ask his sister to do that. Sammy says they didn't reach out to her about the bachelorette party, even though there are things that say otherwise. So they're driving to Asheville for the party trip. Balin's excited for her about her party and the arts and crafts she has planned, and she says she needs a screwdriver in one hand and arts and crafts in the other. And Colin asks her what she's building with the screwdriver, and she clarifies that it's a drink, not a screwdriver. That was so- She's like, like vodka and orange juice. That's great. Apparently, Colin is the partier and Balin is not. Um, she says she's not having any peepers at the party and no wieners at all. Um, she's also not condescending and bitchy about it like Liz Johnston was. I think I'm gonna like comparing these two weddings, especially since Liz is so classy. I'll love comparing these two. Uh, Sammy has still not said if she's coming to the party or not, and Balin doesn't expect her. Then Balin gets a text from Sammy to call her. So she does, and Sammy says it's not feasible for her to come to the party and complains that she was not involved in the party planning. To which you can see Colin over there going, "How dare she?" Colin was getting mad. You could see Colin getting mad during this phone call. Balin says she, Austin, and Colin reached out to her. Colin reached out to her 3 times. She complains more about not being in on the planning and that she got a group text like everyone else. Um, she wanted to be special, I think. That's my assessment. Sammy wanted to be special. Uh, Sammy says they had a date, but not a place until 2 weeks before the date. Sammy, I think that was part of the planning that you did not seem to do want anything to do with. So that's why it was done so close to the date. You weren't doing your part. Then Sammy complains about how far the airport is from the accommodations. Sammy, Sammy, you're an adult. You need to try some adulting. She has her own issues with travel, so she says she can't do it. And then she what she needed to say was, "Hey, I will do everything I can remotely for your get together, but I can't physically be there because of my own issues." Is what she should have done. But instead of complaining that she wasn't singled out to be special and no one reached out to her, even though everybody was reaching out to her. um, and she says, I've never heard of a bride and groom planning their own trip. Well, yeah, no kidding. That was your job. Bailey reminds her that the bride and groom picked the trip, but they don't plan the trip. Sammy says, you did both. And Balin says, yes, because nothing was done um, when they stated what they wanted to do. Nothing was done. So what did you do? Did you just expect them to cancel the whole thing, Sammy, because of you? So Sammy wanted to be a priority, I guess. And she felt disrespected that she wasn't singled out for her own personal little thing because she couldn't possibly, go by what's on the group chat and chat with her sister. Balin takes a lot of responsibility for the lack of communication. She does. She takes a lot of the responsibility for it. Sammy takes none. Sammy said that they shouldn't expect everybody to come, and Balin says she didn't, but she did expect her to come. And the way this family has stepped up to help Sammy navigate travel before, I feel like this is an excuse, not a reason. Um, I'm sure their older brother's going to the party since he's in the wedding party, and probably would have been glad to make sure that Sammy got to and from the airport had she made the effort to get that far. Sammy could have flown into DC and driven up there with Colin and Balin, or driven up there with Burke, I think is in the wedding. Colin said Sammy made no attempt to plan the party and feels like she had no intention of attending from the jump. Balin and Colin's friends and family are at the house, and they all agree that they are not the communicators. They are not good at communication. So you can see where things will fall through the crack. But still, during a wedding, if you're the maid of honor or the best man, you reach out to them sometimes. And because, you don't know what's going on. Hey, do you want me to do this, that, or the other thing? Or not? So the theme of the party is the last rodeo, and the place is decorated appropriately. Um, and this seems like a really good theme for them. They seem, especially for Colin. Uh, I suspect Colin's sister, yes, Colleen and Colin, was behind it. Colin even has a horse. We got a little blow up horse on the wall. She says, this is the horse that's going with you to the wedding. There are 14 attendants for the wedding. On Colin's side, they have Austin, who's the best man, Balin's brother Burke, his DC friends AJ and Aiden, and a friend Ethan, and military friends Walker and Mark. On Balin's side are maid of honor, if that holds up, Sammy, Colin's sister Colleen. Yes, I know. High school friend Kylie, college friend Kayla T, and DC friends Eileen, Layla, and Kayla B. Besides Sammy, Aiden, Kylie, Leela, and Mark were not able to attend. And I'm not surprised, but Burke was there, and Burke could have given, I'm sure Burke would have given Sammy a ride if she just got herself to a place where he could pick her up. So I'm not surprised that 6 of them couldn't come, given the number of people, especially if they only had like a 2-week notice. So they brought in a hibachi chef for the first night's dinner. His name is Bo, and of course, Balin takes something inappropriate for him first thing. He doesn't know about Tourette's, but he seems to take it in stride. He seems a really, really nice guy. Dinner goes well, and the producers ask what the rest of the plans for the night. Colin says shots. Balin says crafts, specifically bedazzling. Um, and then later they show Colin and her friends playing beer pong, and Balin and her friends sitting at the table doing crafts. Right? Hilarious. But they are having drinks, and it's not like Liz's uh, bridal shower, bachelorette party. Um, and at the end, Colin is having a chat with his sister about the Balin slash Sammy situation. So he's telling her something's got to change. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know how they're going to do this. Um, just so you know, there are rumors online that the wedding was canceled. It wasn't. They got married like earlier this month. They got married on the 9th. So they did have their wedding, which is nice. All right, that's all of that. That's all the Balin and Colin I can stand. I actually like these parents are way better than any of the other uh, parents I've seen on these shows. Um, I mean, they are enmeshed, but they're not so enmeshed that they're overstepping constantly. They overstep occasionally, but they don't overstep constantly like some other people's parents do. All right, next we have entitled people, and it is entitled, but I already paid for it. There was a sale post last night with pictures, and there was something I wanted. Drove over an hour down the mountain to town and got there nice and early. It was still there. It's a heavy old iron hand pump. Oh, those are cool. The seller had it in the lawn near the curb. I told the seller I was taking it and perused the other stuff. I paid for the pump and a few other things. He had a few other buyers, so I put the other stuff in the trunk until he was free to load it up. I wasn't parked far away, but by the time I turned around, there was a couple trying to pick it up and looking excited. I walked up and told them I had already paid for it. She didn't believe me, interrupted the seller and another customer with, "Excuse me, I'm here to buy this pump." Seller sees me, I shrug. He says to them it's sold already. She still doesn't believe and explains that she came all the way from adjacent city for it. I laugh a little and tell her I came down from the mountain for it, so I'm just waiting for someone to help load it. She turns to me with an expectant look and says, "I really want it, like I'm gonna hand it over." I just shrugged and said I was done saying no. She stood inside, rolled her eyes, and possibly called me a name under her breath. I didn't react. I got the prize, no need to gloat. Finally, another customer came over, picked up the pump, and put it in my trunk, probably just to stop her drama, or he was just a nice guy. She was glaring at me as I passed on the way. I smiled and waved by. Like, why did if somebody tells you, "Well, I already paid for it and I'm just waiting to load it." Why would you not believe that? Why would you not believe the seller when they tell you that they already paid for it? That's crazy. Intrepid Much is the first top rated comment, and they say, "This is how all entitled people should be addressed. No argument, just a no and a dash of common sense and some muscles to move things along." Dirty Duckman says, "No is a complete sentence." Exactly. Second top rated comments from 10 Zipper, and they say, "Well, I did drive all the way down here, but if you really want it that bad, I guess I can sell it to you." And then name a totally outrageous price. Either way, it's a win. Yeah, exactly. It'll be 1,200. I mean, you paid like $50 for it. It'll be $1,200, please. 12,000 now that you're still arguing with me. Negotiate the price. Price keeps going up. um, A said I've done this at an estate sale. It worked out well for everyone. That's good. Um, Rich mention says this is their top rated comment, and they say a few years back, some teen contacted me via Facebook asking me to give him my username, the one that's unique. I said no, no, of course, but he was like, "I want it. It's not fair as it's my name and I want to have my name." One lucky stroke for us older people, we have email in our names without adding an extra, as we were there when it all started. Yeah, I still have an email in my name because nobody has my name, so it's easy. There was one other lady that had my maiden name, my old name, but she passed away, so now I'm the only one. Murdered by words. Um, Someone says Trump says the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner proves why he needs to have a $400 million ballroom. It's drone proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. Frank Schaefer says, by this logic, every school in America should be outfitted with a $4 million ballroom. Amen. A frickin' men to that. PM me says is a top rated comment. Top rated comment is from PM, and they say, how is bulletproof glass going to help if the shooter comes from within? Dumb MFer. Somebody's speculating about his next move. Icy says if it even if it wasn't staged, it's not like the dude was assaulting the place from the outside, right? He was inside. Um, Gumber Hercules says the links this piece of crap will go to get what he wants. No kidding. Okay, another Badlands National Park review. And it says it's entitled Unfriendly Workers, and it's from Tiffany in Minneapolis. Unbelievable. It is $30 to get in because they won't accept scanning the pass. Third and fourth grade on the phone. I don't know what third and fourth grade means. We don't have a printer in our van or camper. Maybe you should get one. The pass is on the phone. This was in 2021, so things may have changed since then. It's clear we have a fourth and fifth grader in the van. I bet it's gorgeous in there though. So they were turned away because they did not have the proper paperwork. Craziness. Craziness. So yeah, make sure you read the directions before you go. If you need paper, you better get it on paper. You're in a camper. Most campgrounds have a printer in the campground. They will be glad to help you use it. I know because I've been there and done that. Like let people use my printer at the campground. Or another camper might have the printer. But make sure you read the directions before you go so that you know that your phone was not good enough. But that was in 2021. Things may have changed. I don't know. Next, we have Traumatize Them Back, and it is entitled Canceling Verizon iOS for My Dead Mother. Yikes. My mom passed away last fall. I'm sorry, OP. That's sad. We were wrapping things up in her house, which is under contract. We kept home internet up so we'd have it when working there. Yeah, my sister-in-law did that when she moved. She kept the internet up so the boys would have something while they were there. And so we had service for her Ring cameras, but time to cancel the service. It's odd how a phone number can be sentimental, but it feels funny to cancel a landline number that I've known for 50 years. Oh, yeah, true. So anyway, Verizon FiOS chat support said, I'm moving and need to cancel FiOS. Hello, my name is Jackson. Thank you for sharing the reason. However, we would like to share that currently we are offering some amazing free offers while moving to a new address. New address is in heaven. Could you please share your new address? And he says, well, actually, the account owner has moved to heaven. They are deceased and won't be needing internet access. And they answer, so let's just get this canceled so I can return equipment. I'm sorry to hear that. However, I'm sure you also need and use internet. Oh my goodness. I can help you move same account, including maximum discount and offers at new place. Or if you want, I can help you order service in your name for new address. This is AI. This is what AI is going to be doing to us, guys. If you want to keep talking about my dead mother, I can do that, but I think we both would be happier if you skipped the sales pitch and let me cancel. Good grief. OP says after some unproductive online support, I called the phone number and started with I don't need to have any customer retention offers or expressions of not sympathy. Expressions of sympathy, I think is what they mean. The account holder died and I just need to cancel the service effective today and return the equipment. The real woman I spoke to was actually pretty good, and she apologized for the online runaround. Oh, that's good. Stan Zoom answers, sorry for your loss. When my aunt passed, she kept getting mail offering credit cards, etc. I finally took one of them, filled it out, and sent it back. She hasn't received any more offers from that company. On the part for the address, I put cemetery. For the income, I wrote, how I now live in heaven with streets of gold. Who needs money? Unlimited income. For the employment, I wrote in sitting on clouds and playing harps with the angels. For date of birth, I put her date of demise on earth since perhaps that might be the new birthday in heaven. I was just so over it. I hope this gives you a smile today. That's great. That is a great, that's a great way to handle that. You keep sending me offers, I'm going to send you to heaven. Chickadee says, my mom had a Discover card. We canceled it when she passed away. Made sure there was no balance. Had to have been 10 years later, I saw that they sent her a new card in the mail. I called to tell them to cancel it, even though I'm sure we did it years ago. There was no balance on it. They told me I had to send in a death certificate and proof I was the executor of the estate. I told them I don't need to do anything. She was long gone, and I know the card was supposed to be canceled. I was calling as a courtesy. The woman who was really surprised and didn't know what to say. I told her I'm ripping up the card and they can do whatever they want. Killdozer said I would have maxed out the card. um, Chewy Goat is the third top rated comment. They say it's been 2 years and I have not been able to cancel my dead mom's Verizon account because I don't know her password and her work email was shut down, because she's dead. I went to 3 stores in person, spent hours on the phone, and bought in a physical death certificate. It can go to collections. I've given up. Uh, Miss the Mrs. Behans has a link to the FCC phone complaints. Write a detailed complaint, including as many dates as possible for attempts to cancel. The amount you paid towards the account you paid towards the unused account and documentation of the deceased. Express your expectation of a full refund from the date of your first cancellation attempt and the impossible expectation Verizon has that you produce the password of someone that is dead. Sliver of Optimism says we had the same problem after my dad's death with the router from their home. I drove 9 hours, and brought my mom out of her care room with Alzheimer's to a storefront and politely but sternly talking about elderly abuse. And surprised they finally gave me the passcode to the account. It's finally turned off, but not without the retention team shenanigans after. It's insane. That's crazy. Miss Behans also says, if you are in the U.S., I would like to cancel my account. If you do not cancel my account, I will reach out to the FCC to make a complaint about my difficulties in canceling service for a deceased person. I had made multiple calls to my former cellular provider, transferred my main phone line out to another carrier, but didn't cancel the secondary line at the same time. Oh, talk about dumb. They tried to charge me for the next month and said I could not verify my canceled PIN, so I'd have to go to corporate-owned store to verify. I left a detailed complaint with the FCC for problems canceling service with detailed notes, including dates I had called, promised service end dates, and factual proof. The next day, I got a call from someone in corporate FCC complaints to retroactively cancel the account and credit their mistaken bill. They do not want those complaints unanswered or unresolved. Next, we have What Should I Do? And it is entitled, Last night we got tipped $5,000, but the manager wants to split it among everyone, not just the day's crew. No, absolutely not. Why is it split among anybody? So last night a regular came in. He's been coming in for a few days now. He always talks about being over the world, and I don't mind conversing with him so we always talk. I just happen to chat with him more than not since he's in during my shifts. Yesterday, however, he asked for something special and I made him cool food and a smoothie. He paid and tipped $5,000. He said it was to support my business. I said that I didn't mind sharing with the team that day. I'm lead and worked more hours compared to everyone. So I'm not sure if it's my place to object when the manager texted this morning saying the tip should be split among all the workers, uh, 10 to 13, when initially only 6 people were working that day. One lead said yes, but I'm not sure what to say. They might exclude the new guy and a bad worker, but the new guy was working the night with me too. So what should I say? Am I selfish to want to object knowing everyone needs the money? Fiddle Pickle says, I think just the shift at the time or only the server. I think only the server. OP said, I was thinking that, but I work most of the day. Won't look super selfish of me to say no. It should only be split with the crew who worked. Okay, nothing says he tipped you. He said it's for your business, not this business, not the crew. Definitely not the crew who's even there, the manager. The fact that you were willing to share with the crew on that shift is generous enough. If your manager forces this through, you should take it to your local labor and industrials branch and report it since it was constitute theft as that is your money. 100%. Second top rated comment is from DS and he says, does your job normally have you getting tips directly and then responsible for tipping out the busser and bartender or etc., or do you have a shared tip jar for this shift? Um, OP says, just to clarify, I came in a few times and told me to start my own business. So this is your money, dude. He wanted you to have this money. This has nothing to do with your work. That night he said he would be the first investor and he's supporting, hence the tip. I don't mind everyone who worked there getting a share, but the manager is suggesting everyone gets it. I just feel conflicted between it being selfish or being justified to speak up, only to say only the people who worked that day should be receiving a portion equally. No, nobody should be receiving a portion. He gave this to you. It's not a tip. This is not a tip. This is an investment. He said so. That's not a tip. That's an investment. He said, I'm investing in your business. Start a business. I don't know what kind of business she was starting. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled Forced to Use AI at Work. Oh, yeah, they're doing this a lot. They're doing this a lot, pushing this AI. You got to use AI. You got to use AI, no matter how bad it is. My work are pushing us to use AI as much as possible, so much that they monitor our usage and pull the people into meetings, asking why they are not using enough Claude credits. They keep saying that we should use it for anything that could save us time, but they can't see any of our prompts or chats. I do find AI useful, but managers don't understand that it can also slow me down with the type of work I do. I've started copying and pasting multiple choice questions from all the cybersecurity and other online courses they make me do, seemingly endlessly. Literally makes me a minute to complete these now versus 15 minutes to 1 hour, depending on the questions. I copy them separately and ask Claude to explain his answers in lots of detail. And oh boy, does he rattle through credits. Sorry, environment. Great time and mental energy saver, as well as keeping my AI zombie bosses at bay. I hope this post inspires others to never do a cybersecurity course ever again. um, Yukoshki says in 5,000 words or less, explain why having minimum quotas of AI generation per user per day is antithetical to a functioning company. Next person says everybody should do that. The filthy Dill says it gets worse. It gets worse, people. A relative is a police dispatcher. Their county is talking about using AI for the non emergency number. They think this is a horrible idea because, as their 18-year career has demonstrated, people can be terrible about determining whether or not something is an emergency or not. They have dispatched to lots of calls that have absolutely were emergencies, but people didn't want to call 911 because they thought they would get in trouble for bothering 911 unnecessarily. If you need to call 911, call 911. They will not, I mean, if it's legitimate anything, they will not get you in trouble. The only time they will get you in trouble is if you're falsifying information. My husband's having chest pain. Is hurting blue. My son punched his hand through a window and there's blood all over. My grandson has stuck his head through the banisters and can't get back out. Soaping his ears hasn't worked. What do we do? Call the fire department. Clearly. Take a rail out. Call my son, take a rail out. So many answers. I recall a story where a dispatcher received a frantic call because a toddler had eaten some ants. The dispatcher assured the woman that the boy would have no problems from the ants. The woman was very relieved to hear the news. Then the woman mentioned that she fed the boy ant poison just in case. Oh my gosh. Why would you do that? Dispatcher told the woman to get her son to emergency room immediately. Yet people really do have problems determining what events are emergencies and what aren't. For sure. Second top rated or third, sorry, top rated comment is from Mano Sandolos. That's what I'm calling him. I feel the same way. Also, in the CS industry, expect to have 85% adoption of AI by the end of the year. I typically run all my mandatory training in the background while doing other things and just answer the questions at the end of each course. Don't we all? So thanks for the idea. Now I will not even have to read the questions. The Chrome extension is great for going through those courses. I mean, I probably wouldn't know that, obviously. Next, we have evil buildings, and this is the Mormon Temple in Kensington, Maryland. It is evil because Mormons are a cult building. The thing on top is really weird. Northern Light says, haha, it's so dramatic when you come around the corner, come around that turn of the Beltway. I went to university in Maryland and we had a 48-hour film festival where the participants had the same storyline but different genres. People who had sci-fi used this exact shot for a temple for space. Excellent. I would like to see some of those. Some of them are probably pretty good. Some of them are probably really bad. Shmudu says, I read that they built these by the highway on purpose for maximum visibility. I believe that. Uh, they even found the video where it was mentioned. And I boat says, of course they do. That's the point of getting your gaudy structure if the mudmen can't marvel in it. Never mind that God is impotent and sees it regardless. We must throw it in the face of the peons. Medieval Mind says one of those bridges used to have a surrender Dorothy graffiti on it. That's excellent. Concept Junkie says you can still see where it was painted over. Creative Ad says whenever I drive past at night, the illuminated view is actually striking. Oh yeah, churches can be really cool when they're illuminated at night. There's one in Kalamazoo that's really nice, really beautiful. Next we have AI. Oh my gosh. I told you I stayed up too late. Stayed up way too late. AITAH, entitled AITAH for telling my boss to apologize to my wife. No, probably not. My boss called twice at 5:50 a.m. I was in the bedroom. After I didn't answer, he called my wife at 5:55 a.m. and woke her up to get me. Sir, his wife is not your employee. Don't be calling people that are not employed by you. She needs her consultation fee. Consultation fee is $2 an hour, minimum of 2 hours. $200 an hour, minimum of 2 hours. She needs $400. He later told me she was super freaked out thinking something happened to me. She had no idea in the moment if I was home or not. It was over a customer machine that was not working that I was programming the day prior. I rushed in and it was indeed working, albeit they suffered some downtime on third shift. I called him out in an email and said it was unacceptable behavior and demanded an apology to my wife. Am I absolutely crazy? To me, is it common sense to wait until 7 or 8 a.m. unless it's literally a matter of life and death? I would say it's common sense to wait till 9. Don't be calling me before 9. Even if I got up at 7, I will not answer. Quick Fix says, NTA, I assume your boss has your wife's number as an emergency contact. Those exist to contact loved ones in the case of an emergency involving you. This is highly inappropriate, professional behavior. Traditional putt answers exactly. I had My husband's boss called me once only because he was an hour late for a meeting they forgot to tell him about, and they were worried he got into a wreck when he wasn't answering his phone. He was playing basketball. That was a justified use of my number, but OP's boss would have been hearing from me directly about that apology and approximately 4 a.m. the next morning, right? Uh, Pickle Aggressive said you should check this dude's post history. His entire post history is him rating teenagers 1 out of 10, commenting on underage women's pictures. Just wondering, OP, why is it disrespectful towards a wife if your boss calls her, but you can harass infinite women from age 10 to 20? Juliet Collins quotes underage women, says the word you're looking for is children. Yes, let's call it what it is. Somebody says it's males and females 18 plus. And now he's deleted them. Of course he has. But we know how to find them, don't we? Somebody asked why the boss has emergency number because for emergencies. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled Bought a House with a Neighbor from Hell. Now what? It's been 4 weeks since we purchased the home. It's our intent to rent the property. We had some landscaping and fixing to do first. The neighbor has called the city code enforcement on us every single day. They've also called the Utilities Public Right-of-Way Division. He is making false reports. No citations have been issued. We haven't done anything wrong. He's making false reports. They will catch up with him eventually. Eventually, it will catch up with him. This is definitely a power trip. He's charged up to our contractors, fistballed and cursing. We filed a police report. He stands at the property line with his phone, filming everything we do. He's a big guy and tries to show it. And he's a big guy, but he has low self-esteem. This is definitely a power trip. It's targeted, focused, and meant to be harmful to us. The other neighbors have been lovely and even told us the whole neighborhood is aware of his behavior. What can we do? I'm deeply concerned he is going to harass our tenants. The house is ready for occupants, but we want to figure out how to get a no contact order in place. I reached out to the city, public records, code enforcement, etc., and asked at what point the false reporting becomes an issue for them. Apparently, he can do this all day, every day. I asked for the public records of the report so we can build a case about harassment. We can't get a no contact order without proof, but they won't share who made the complaints. What else can we do? Uh, Vacation Amazing says rent it to Hell's Angels. They're Hell's Angels. They're good guys. Cyclists are in general good people. Strawberry Dew answers. I was just thinking they need to offer a rent discount to the biggest guy who applies. Any Samoans in your area? um, Suitable tier answers after a while. When friends rented their house conveniently off a major intersection, they didn't know the locals used the area for illicit sales. Of course, no one wanted to confront the dealers, but they didn't want what was happening on the sidewalk in front of their house. They'd been prepping for a local Ren fair, doing choreographed sword fighting. In a stroke of brilliance, they decided to test their show with an audience. So they tumbled out of the house, shouting insults to each other and started hacking at each other. Not once did they look at the dealers or acknowledge them. Long story short, the dealers relocated to a different exit 2 miles up in an industrial zone. At least the manufacturing plants don't have kids running around. Oh my goodness, that's why. Union Park is the second top rated comment, and they say, I lean into the conflict. Set up cameras. Go there and tell them to come up to you and escalate. Get it on video and take that to get him trespassed or an order of protection. But the order of protection would be against you, not the house. The next tenants are going to have to deal with this guy. They're going to have to get the order of protection because that's how that stuff works. Downtown Topic says, hire a mime to come over and mock him right in the middle property line, record it, and post the video on YouTube. Everybody wins. I love that. That's great. Be well worth the money, too. How does one hire a mime? I'm sure there's ways to hire anything. Hire a rodeo clown too while you're at it. Next I have benign existence, and it is entitled "My Puppy Has a Strict Bedtime Routine." She goes to sleep at 9 p.m., usually on my footstool or on the couch. When I go to bed a few hours later, we do these specific steps. I turn off the TV and say, "Do you want to go to bed?" She turns herself over, belly up, and waits to be lifted like a baby. Oh, that's so sweet. I carry her to her bed and hold up her blanket so she can crawl under. I tuck it around her, and she gives a contented sigh and goes right back to sleep. Tonight she happened to fall asleep as I was already holding her, and when I turned off the TV, I asked if she was ready for bed. She quickly wiggled herself around in my arms until she was ready in the appropriate belly up carry to bed position. She's the cutest thing ever. That's adorable. That is adorable. I love it. Next, we have Found Satan, and it is entitled Well Played. Um, After my neighbor's dog attacked me, they moved out. They said, "Move out or uh, shut the F up." I took pictures of them letting the dogs poop without picking it up 15 plus pics on different days each with a $75 fine, which came to $1,125. I submitted the pics at the end of the month, end of, at the second of the month. They couldn't pay and were evicted. Frederick Joseph says, "Name a time when you proved someone wrong who doubted you. Be as petty as you like." It's pretty petty. I didn't realize that was a prompt. Thick Lecture says, "Misunderstood indeed." Correct. That fictional story does not fit the assignment at all unless they forgot to include the part about doubts. They say it doesn't match it. Next, we have Just No Mill, and it is entitled "Mill Wanted a Key to Our House." Do you like your mother-in-law? Then fine. Do you not trust your mother-in-law? Then no. No, and no is a complete sentence. Why is my head itchy? Why? Why is it itchy? No, I don't have that. Shut up. Now my head's gonna itch. So for the record, I know I have a dear husband problem. I talked to a lawyer and will be filing for a separation and or divorce. Yikes. Just want to be super duper clear about that. But I still held out for some hope until this weekend. I'm like, get the F out. I don't want to breathe the same air. This is more of a vent because I feel crazy. And no, I'm not leaving my husband just because of his mom. There are a lot of other issues. His mother. Oh, his mother. His mother has been a constant problem in our marriage, always looking down her nose, judgy, just general nosiness and a stick in the mud. I was already on the edge of divorce, but dang, she really did out herself this weekend. I hope to keep my father in law. I know I won't, but damn, dude, he and I ended up going for a drive to get away from her crazy making behavior. So over time, she's done the usual asking about grandchildren, having an opinion about everything, crappiness about my parents. They do deserve it, I will be honest. So she doesn't got good parents or good in-laws. That's sad. Passive aggressiveness with me, etc. But what really set the tone, in 2018, I bought a house alone because she decided she didn't want to be off her son's bank accounts. He lied about this numerous times. I would spy and see what he was spending his money on. He wasn't allowed to share finances with me. She also took control over my phone without my knowledge. Husband transferred it, and it kept popping up as father-in-law's name, even though I'm executive, and it was embarrassing. Mother-in-law wouldn't take her husband's last name, so the hypocrisy is bad. She also insisted on knowing what was going on with her baby boy's equity. I said nothing. He decided not to pay the bills and be financially married to you, so he doesn't get crap. Well, according to her, that's not how marriage works or divorce, so yeah. Anyway, this weekend was father-in-law's birthday. She wouldn't let him have a beer, no medical reason not to, and he wasn't driving. Wouldn't let him have nachos, was found lurking and snooping in my office, made comments about my weight constantly, and the usual crappy comments. The cherry on top, she started demanding the key to my house. My house. She lives 5 hours away and doesn't drive. She doesn't need it. And my husband was looking to give it to her. I piped up and said no. There are two ways to get into our house if she ever needed to. She has no reason to need a key, especially since she lives 5 hours away and doesn't drive. It doesn't make sense. Oh man, did she pout. At that point, she decided to take over my kitchen, and I wasn't allowed to cook or make myself a sandwich in your own home. Are you kidding me right now? She just stood in the way. She did. I'd bump her out of the way. Like, oh, excuse me, you're in my way. Could you please move? If you do not move, I will put hands on you. I will. That's just, oh, it irritate me to no end. She then wouldn't let anyone get spoons to enjoy dessert. Where does she get off? She held my kitchen island hostage. Just can't imagine going into someone's house and getting mad that they won't give me a key and then taking over their kitchen just to be a jerk. I tore my husband a new one and told him I was done with his mother's trophy behavior. I don't understand what trophy behavior is. She's not allowed to come over anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't have her in my house either, ever. Not ever again. Like, you want to act like a fool? No, you're not. You're not coming here. She does not get to put a flag down in my house that I bought alone because he's too busy being married to his mother. I know he's enmeshed. I know she's selfish, but geez, let your husband have some dang nachos and a beer. He's 72. Husband now wants emergency counseling session. I'm not interested. I told him to go marry his mom. Counting the days until this isn't my problem anymore. As I told him, um, immediately going to go hunting for a key without talking to me and bending to mommy was it for me. Holy cow. Harry Moda says when he does leave, change the locks and install cameras and change the Wi-Fi password and get a new phone. Change your bank account and change any password or PIN that he might have gleaned. Yes. I hope he press charges after he gives her a key when it's used there and there are cameras. Oh, don't change the Netflix password right away. Keep that in your back pocket for when you want it. Fuzzy Mushroom says, girl, you're on the right track. File for divorce, keep your house, get rid of mother in law and husband. Hope father in law takes your side, but don't count on it. Um, Mama in law says, I kept sister in law in a divorce. Don't even speak to my brother in law or mother in law. Puzzle Headed Tap says, I kept sister in law as well. She told my ex that he deserved the divorce. He didn't like that and can't believe he admitted to me. I love her. Next, we have Petty Revenge, and it is entitled Missionaries Parked on Our Lot to Knock on Doors, so I had their car towed. Yes. My apartment complex parking lot already lacks enough space to accommodate the number of parking passes they've given out. On average, the lot is full by 4 to 5 p.m., and you have to find alternative place to park outside the complex. A weirdly large group of missionaries, 6 to 8, parked in our lot to knock everybody's doors and leave flyers asking them to come to their LDS Easter service. Leave people alone. Leave people alone. Stop wasting time and money on that. It's ridiculous. Some of them were standing around a car getting more flyers from the trunk when I pulled into my complex to park. As I'm circling, I see them all walk out of the complex as a group, presumably to go to the 3 neighboring apartment complexes on our street, leaving their car in a space. I let the office managers know, and within the hour, I can park my car in the last remaining spot in the complex. Happy Good Friday. Edited to add content. 1, there are signs everywhere saying permit parking only. Violators will be towed at their own expense. And there's a security company that checks the cars throughout the day and overnight. And they call the tow truck if they find a car with no pass. Yes, I watched from a distance while the tow truck did my dirty work. I needed the parking spot, okay? Small floral print says, he tows us. Grumpy Cat Stevens says he gets us towed. He towed for our sins. On the 3rd day, he was released from impound. 20 pieces of silver was the payment. 30. It's 30. Uh, Euphoric University says, and on the 3rd day, the women went to the impound lot. They were astonished to find the gate open and the car gone. At the entrance to the lot stood an angel, and the angel said unto them, what do you want? And the women answered, "We seek our car, but it is gone." And the angel answered them, "Lo, it is risen into yonder car crusher, tough titties." It's hilarious. Am I being trolled? Says some religious nuts came into town to protest the soldier's funeral. Oh, I know who that was. That was oh crap! Now it just went out of my head. It's some Baptist, stupid Baptist church. Westboro Baptist Church does that. All the tires on their vans were slashed. Every tire shop and Walmart refused to sell them tires. They had to charter a bus and have their vans towed all the way back to Kansas. At the local towing companies, all the local towing companies refused the job. Love that for them. Platypus Dream says, "I love everyone in that town." Loki Canada says, "I live in a neighborhood that had a big run of robberies, including the chief of police's house." That's bold. After the house got hit, we've got fast police response, and everyone was told to call if they saw someone strange in the neighborhood. A carload of people parked in front of our house and got out to walk around. Cops were called. 4 cop cars showed up with full lights. Each person got ID'd and interrogated. Years before, we saw JW again. Turned out the robberies were 2 ladies with strollers and babies walking the neighborhood. They would scout and then call in a crew with a truck when they saw a house that was obviously empty. Wow. Wow, that's crazy pants. Next is Am I the Jerk? And is entitled AITJ for telling an event promoter that they should list permanent jewelry as a restricted category after they took my non refundable deposit. I, 32 female, own a small permanent jewelry business. I recently applied for a local vendor market and paid the required deposit. Shortly after, I received an email from the promoter saying that they couldn't host me because they already have a permanent jewelry vendor with an exclusive agreement for all their events. I wasn't upset about the exclusivity, that's common, but I was annoyed that they took my money and let me apply for a spot that wasn't actually available. I sent a professional email back saying that I wasn't looking for a refund as they'd already processed it, but suggesting they should list permanent jewelry is not allowed category on their public application to save future vendors time and hassle. The promoter's response was incredibly defensive. He said he told me there was no non-refundable deposit. You received your fund back. Additionally, the exclusive agreement, was entered into after the show was listed. Please mind your tone. I did some digging on Facebook and discovered why he was so snappy. The exclusive permanent jewelry vendor is his wife. So no, that doesn't add up. I feel like he's using his position as a promoter to gatekeep for his wife's business while being unprofessional to other vendors who are just trying to navigate the application process. He's acting like I'm a jerk for having a tone, but I feel like I was just giving valid business feedback about a flawed system. AITJ for pointing out that they shouldn't be accepting applications for categories they've already promised to family members. I've received from all the interactions, and now I don't know how I should respond. I want to blast him all over socials, or should I take the high road and ignore it? But I feel like I need to warn other permanent jewelry artists so they don't waste their money and time. By the way, I was not giving a full refund. Update. It's his wife and daughter. I have took advice and did a chargeback. And for anyone who is telling me to get over it, it's $5. But on his page it says due to oversubscription, we will only be taking select 3D vendors. We will adjudicate 3D vendor applications as they come in. 3D vendors will be accepted on a first come, first serve, and we will allow up to 3D vendors that have non-similar products. Those are not accepted will receive a full refund. It doesn't hurt to apply. So that means my credit card fee and the deposit. I have made a complaint with the company, both Booth Central with all the screenshots. I appreciate you all and you made the sick feeling leave. That's nice. First comment is Android Preamble, and they say you reply with a follow-up indicating that you have found that his wife is a jewelry position and you expect a full refund or you will be taking legal action. State that his contact is unjust environment, and if he intends to retain your deposit, you will seek further action. You can file small claims and get a refund. Um, I don't know how to pronounce that. There's no way he should have any of your money if those are his terms. OP agrees. Second top rate comment is beautiful chaos energy. Leaving a review. I was rejected because of an exclusive contract with someone who appears to be the owner's wife. I was only giving a partial refund, and I want to give everyone else a heads up that things aren't as above board as the event owner wants us to believe. If you sell permanent jewelry, do not waste your time or money on this event. And as others have said, look into taking him to small claims court. It's not about the money, it's about the principle. Exactly. Signs of the story. I don't think any date at Hooters is going well, is the um, title. Are you on a Hooters? Are you on a date that isn't going well? Is your tender or plenty of fish date not who they said they were on their profile? Do you feel unsafe or even just a bit weird? We're here to help. Just go to the bar and order an angel shot. Meet with your partner will escort you to your bartender will escort you to your vehicle. With ice, your bartender will call an Uber or Lyft for you. With lime, your bartender will call the police. We handle things discreetly and without a lot of fuss. We've been there, and we want you to know that you're in good hands. Well, that's nice, but why are people dating at Hooters? Why are you taking the girls to Hooters, guys? In all seriousness, that's great options like these are available for people who are uncomfortable in their situation. Yeah. Sunny says, I don't think Angel Shot works as a code anymore because it's so well known. And Faded says that's why you go to the bar alone and not order it at your table in front of the guy. uh, Bonk says, yeah, Angel Shot with a basket of lime. Your date is an alien trying to invade Earth and you need the National Guard. Wild Light, she says, I see you dated my ex. um, Christine Ed says, who pays for the Uber and Lyft in this situation? I've always been curious. Young Legend said, if I owned a business, especially one that serves alcohol, I'd be more than willing to pay to get someone home out of a potentially dangerous situation. Yes, exactly. uh, Expectation versus reality. I did my best on an unexpected cake request. I am not a cake decorator. Made this for my brother-in-law's birthday. Mom came home with a store cake and asked for Gollum because I make things with clay. Marzipan is not clay. They do say it was delicious. So this is the expectations. Very, very cute, especially if you are a The Rings fan. Look at that very cute Gollum there. My precious. Okay, story. My boss, maybe on here at some point, my former boss, talked to herself a lot to the point where I would ignore her and then she would yell at me for not listening to her. It was great. But she would also talk to herself when she was looking for something, and it sounded like I kept accusing her of looking for my precious. My precious. Where is my precious? Just looking for, her pen or whatever. It was hilarious. But anyway, this is a cute little Gollum, and it's precious. That is not a cute little Gollum. That is not good at all. Oh my goodness. But the cake was good, and an effort was made. So it's all okay. DDD says, I love him. He's a cute little guy. Miratum says the expectation may have been Gollum from the movies, but you nailed the Gollum I pictured in my mind when I read the books. Snap Biscuit says the first one was too human. OP's was closer to my imagination too. And then there's a bunch of emojis. Okay, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, your family, your enemies, and let's see, who else can we tell? Um, tell your ex-mother-in-law who wants a key to your house. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please on email us and entitle it submission. If you would like a link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe or in the follow us on the social medias. Um, if you friend me on Snapchat, which I believe is down there, it should be down there. That was not. Okay, I'll have to put that one on. I will add you to. I gotta put Snapchat down there, but I will add you to. Matter of fact, I might be able to do that. No, I can't. No, no, no. Oh, I'm not here. Okay. Um, how do I share? Hmm. 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 How do I get out of here? Oh, no, that didn't do it. I'll have to figure that one out. Hmm. I'll have to figure that one out. Oh, here we go. Maybe this will work. Do, 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 do. Where am I going? Eh, I guess I should probably check it to make sure it works first. Okay, yeah, it seems to. It seems to. That doesn't seem like that's going to work. Hold on. Let me try something else just to make sure. Oops, not that one. This other stuff. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. I will have to figure that one out. I don't know how to get that on there. I'll figure it out. There are ways. Oh, Snapchat's empty right now. If you would like an email to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe or uh, social media. I usually will share that on each of them. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. And the email address is also in the description. All right. Then we have our real estate is from Jefferson, Georgia today. And it is entitled Vast Echoing Bland, but hey, there's a pool. This looks like an industrial building, to be honest. Um, yeah, that is not a house. It's not a house. So that is a factory. That is 100% a factory. It's huge. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Yard's nice. See, this is a factory. This is a home, if you're familiar with that phrase. My goodness. At least it has windows, though. The home that I'm aware of does not have windows. Huge kitchen. Holy cow. I mean, it's a huge space. Jeez. How much are they asking for this? I can't see it. You got your meal space. You got your party space. You got your watching TV space. With no furniture, just bean bags. I am going to put bean bags in mine. I should send that to my daughter-in-law. Oh, they're Green Bay fans. That means they're not good people. Oh my goodness. It's a bar. They weren't serious about the bar, dude. What the heck? And an office space. And a pool. That is a nice pool. Um, what are we doing here? Why is it doing that? So it is $6,125,000. 8 bedrooms, 11 baths, 18,836 square feet, 35.84 acres. It would be great, if I had millions and millions of dollars that I don't have, um, to buy it and use it for like a family retreat. That'd be excellent. Built in 2022. Um, why do we just have pictures here? There are pictures inside the listing, and that's weird to me. So let me do this. No, that's just how it's gonna be. Okay. Nope, we usually have list pictures in the listing. 8 bedrooms, 11 bathrooms, 9 full bathrooms and 2 halves. 9 main level bathrooms and 8 main level bedrooms. There's a foyer, loft, a media room, and an office. It's a huge office. Dining room features 12 plus seating. I don't know why that's in there. Heat pump heating, ceiling fans and central air. Included appliances include the dishwasher, double oven, electric water heater, microwave, laundry, and mudroom. Uh, Beamed ceilings, apparently. Floor is carpet and laminate only. Does not have a fireplace. That's a problem. Needs a fireplace. It's on a cul-de-sac, private. 2 stories, deck, patio, porch, balcony, private pool, and ground. It is fenced. It is on the waterfront. Oh, it has a creek. Nice. Yeah, that'd be a great little family getaway. Property taxes are $30,000 a year. I mean, that's nothing. It's more than some people make. Danger Jack Danger says, as a Roomba, this is my dream. PMD says, Roomba, you need a Zamboni for this. uh, Numeno says, you really do need a ride-on vacuum cleaner for this place. Zero turn. A zero turn ride-on vacuum cleaner. That's what you need. Second top rated comments. Great comfort from Great Comforter. That is a warehouse, not a warehome. That is not a warehouse, a warehome. uh, it's not. No, it's not that. Jessica says, honestly, I would love this. The kids can go nuts running in this warehome. There can be different playing and art stations, and we can rollerblade. I would love it. That's what I'm saying. It would be a nice little family retreat. Little. It's not little. Next, we have server life, and it says regular, by the way. Oh, wow. They didn't get a tip because they didn't like the hostess. A grown unfamiliar regular wanted to sit in a booth, and I told him we had 15-minute wait. He therefore requested a table, and I told him it'd be a 15-minute wait regardless as we were short servers. My coworker came in early and told me she'd take him, and he stiffed her because of me. He's come in a few times since then, and I ran food to him, but he refuses eye contact. They don't know how to spell hostess. They pronounced it hostet. They pronounced it, spelled it hostet. At Far Cry says former regular. Edit. Oh, he's been back since it's disappointing. He'd be banned for this where I work. OP says, unfortunately, this is a B-dubs. Why are you not tipping those poor people? This is from Confession. From Confession. It's entitled Overheard My Boss in a Zoom Meeting and I'm Dead. Was at work. It was in a work Zoom call, muted, thank goodness. When my boss forgot he wasn't muted, dude says to his cat, Mr. Whiskers, you are the only one who gets my vision, and then proceeds to rant about how Jenkins in accounting is a spreadsheet goblin who's tanking my vibe, and I'm screaming. It's really funny. Top rate comment is from CBS. Twisted. Boss knew he wasn't muted and used it as power play against Jenkins. Charlie Swade says having a cat does imply supervillain. I've seen some James Bond and Austin Powers films, so I'm kind of an expert. Oh, uh, ill entrepreneur says maybe you should do some networking and contact with Mr. Whisters. Morpheus is the third top rated comment, and they say, but the real question is, are you Jenkins? Leroy Jenkins. It's another Artemis picture of the moon in interesting AF. 8K resolution. You're not getting a mock. That is so super cool. It's Earth rising. That is neat. You can't tell me this ain't cool. Surface of the moon is very interesting. Oh, sorry. I'm really tired, obviously. Yeah, some of those are really neat. Next, we have Am I the A-hole after that little break. AITA for telling my daughter-in-law to stop crying after she got called fat. Yes, on phone. So it's on phone. My daughter-in-law is very sensitive soul, to put it lightly. She will end up in tears basically any pushback or any slightly rude remark. It can be extremely frustrating because anything brought up will end up with her in tears, and you look like a huge a-hole. One example is she has a habit of not taking off her shoes before going into people's houses. About a year ago, she was tracking mud into my house, and I told her to take her shoes off. She started crying because my tone was too much. I didn't yell or anything. My daughter was there and agreed it wasn't mean when I said to take her shoes off. It was a whole thing, and my son gave me a whole lecture about it, how I can't say things like that. I told her to take off her shoes. She isn't a quiet crier either. It's loud and everyone notices the moment it happens. So like Lucille Ball in I Love Lucy. Go look it up. It's a thing. Then everybody needs to comfort her, and you are the dick for making her cry. There are more examples of this, and the whole family has to deal with it. The issue was this weekend get together for my other daughter-in-law's daughter's birthday. So either a grandchild or a step grandchild, I assume. You can say step grandchild. That's okay. Or just, treat them like your own, like you should. The birthday was going well, and there were a lot of young kids. One of the kids, he is 4, almost 5, can be rude. His parents are working on it. He doesn't have a filter, as most 5-year-olds don't. During the event, when he was helping pass out the food, he called her fat. That's not, we don't say that. We don't say that, Timmy. That's not nice. The parents grabbed him and she started crying. It was getting so loud, I pulled her off to the side and told her to stop crying. I didn't want her to cause a scene at a 7-year-old's birthday. It was a little kid's remark, and I told her not to come out of the room until she's composed. Apparently, she can't. Her parents didn't teach her how to behave, so somebody's got to. She ended up going to the car and didn't come back to the party. My son and I got into an argument. My point is, she's a grown adult and she's crying over a 4-year-old saying something mean. He's telling me to apologize, but at this point, I'm not. Yeah, I don't think you have to apologize. She's being ridiculous. The little kid should have to apologize, just just to teach him, just for teaching things. But if she can't behave in public, then she can't be in public. Top comment says, I disagree a bit with some of the other responses you received. She was crying at a child's birthday party. She was crying loudly at a child's birthday party. She should not have to be told to remove herself from the room. She should have realized that herself. She should have not wanted to spoil the child's party. It was too bad that you had to tell her to stay out of the room until she composed herself, but I think it was absolutely necessary. Therefore, NTA, in my humble opinion. Rightier than you says agreed. This came across as attention seeking rather than sensitive, and that's what it sounds like to me too. Perturbed Hamster says, I don't know if it's attention seeking as much as manipulative. They're both the same thing. Plus, it puts the criticizing her or her behavior permanently off limits. I'm guessing this includes whenever she doesn't get her way, though I don't see if OP has commented on that yet. Second top rated comment is from Cal. And they say, everyone in here saying you can't tell someone not to be upset is missing the point. Things can be upsetting and people are allowed to be upset. She doesn't just get upset. She falls apart, loudly cries and makes a scene. Yes, it's not the getting upset that's the issue. It's her behavior that's around getting upset. That's the issue. She's a full-blown adult, and it's either a cry for attention, she needs therapy, or both. Adults don't follow pieces every time over every little thing that makes them unhappy. Significant EM says, this is my take. Crying can be a reflex, but she isn't tearing up and getting comfort in another room. She was loudly crying and taking attention away from the party. Whether it was intentional or not, she was making herself the center of attention. Exactly. As a one-off, I'd give grace, but this is a pattern of behavior that seems to always end with validation and her husband's demand for apology. While OP may sound a bit unfeeling, I admit that I would likely be feeling just as exhausted with daughter-in-law's overly emotional responses to everything. Well, while harsh, daughter-in-law should have had the self-awareness to remove herself from the party until she could get a handle on her emotions. Unfortunately, telling her to stop crying in the moment is going to be futile and just give her more ammunition for blaming OP. She didn't tell her to stop crying. She told her to go in the other room and get a hold of yourself, which is not the same thing. That's go have a timeout and you can come back when you're composed. I'd give her the same talk as a toddler in a calm moment. Let her know that one, her feelings are valid, and two, OP is not being intentionally hurtful to daughter-in-law. But 3, daughter-in-law needs to learn to express her anger or frustration in words like an adult. If she was 3, this would be an appropriate reaction. But she's how old? Doesn't even say. She's an adult. She's at least 23. Not appropriate. She's over 13 for sure. Their top rated comment is from Educational Horse, and they say, NTA, there's sensitive and then there's manipulative. Asking her not to make a child's birthday party about her does not minimize her feelings. It just reminds her of the circumstances. Exactly. She's overreacting. AIO, yes, yes, you are, daughter-in-law. You are overreacting. How can you even be around somebody like that? How did she even become your daughter-in-law? My question. Because I would be all over my son if he brought home somebody like that. Like, no, dude, you need to think about what you're doing. Next is I don't work here, lady, and is entitled, Can you transfer me to reservations? Kid, this is my living room. So this happens back in the 90s when I was a teenager. If you weren't there, just imagine a world in which you couldn't Google anything. You had the yellow pages. My mom assigned me the task of getting a campsite reservation for our favorite state park while she was at work. This place was notoriously difficult to book, uh, especially during the nearby town's annual festival. We didn't even know the exact dates of the festival yet, so she told me to call and find out the dates and see if by some miracle they had a cancellation for those dates. I found the number in the phone book, or so I thought, and I dialed it, and the guy answered pretty casually, hello. Me, hi, I'm calling to find out when the festival in town is this year. I figured I'd confirm the dates first so I didn't look like an idiot when I asked for the campsite. The guy was nice and he gave me the exact dates, but his attitude changed when I asked the next question. Do you guys have any campsites available for that weekend? The guy, I have no idea. Me, well, can you check the system? The guy, no. I was flabbergasted, thinking to myself, why wasn't the state park employee being helpful anymore? Maybe I had the wrong department at the park. Nevertheless, I was determined to continue the mission as my mom tasked me with. If I was able uh, to succeed, I would be the hero and saved our family's vacation. Me, can you transfer me to reservations? There's this long, awkward silence. The guy said, Kid, this is a private residence. You will have to call the state park. Realize I've been treating some random guy like my personal travel agent for the last few minutes. I apologized and hung up. Turns out I read the number wrong. I called the guy who lived in the town where the festival takes place near where the state park was located. He was honestly too nice for his own good, and most people would have hung up the second I asked about the festival dates. I gave up on the task at being too difficult for me. Why didn't you just go redial? I didn't want another embarrassing incident. It was too much for a kid my age. How old were you? A teenager. No, no, you give up too easy. Turns out I told my mom what happened and she got home from work. My whole family had a laugh at the dinner table at my expense, as they should, because you should have been old enough to redial. My mom took over the task of finding us a reservation. She couldn't get one. We ended up going to the park anyway and waited at the park office for an opening if someone canceled last minute. We did end up getting a good site and had a wonderful trip. That's a risk to take, man. Yes, I'm the lady that was told by a stranger I don't work here. Penelope says, I've been on the other end of that conversation. In the early 90s, the local yellow pages listed our home number as the local auto insurance. For someone called our house and it went something like this: 12-year-old me, hello, them, hello, Autopack. Me, thinking they meant that they were from Autopack, yes. Them, gives details about car insurance problem, asked me their information. Me, I don't know. Them, aren't you Autopack? Me, no. Them, then why did you say you were? Me, laughing. Oh, I thought you said you were. Them, not laughing. Well, can you give me their number? Me, no, this is my house. We used to, when my husband was in college, well, we were both in college, he got an apartment with a couple friends, and they gave us a phone number that was one digit different than the local Social Security office. Yeah, it was a fun time. They were always very nice to the older people and said you dialed the wrong number. Please hang up and dial the correct number next time. Next is overheard, and it's entitled "Just Be Handsome." Overheard a middle-aged couple at the grocery store. Woman, honey, it's pain and gain. Man, what did I say? Woman, you keep saying pain and game. Also, that note is it's nip it in the bud, not butt. Bud, not butt. Man, you're a grammar Nazi now. Woman, don't say Nazi, and it's not a grammar thing. If it was, I would be telling you to stop saying irregardless. Man, so what's wrong with irregardless? Woman, don't worry. Just continue being handsome. So cute. Oh, you're cute, honey, but you're dumb. Yellow Line Paper says, I know exactly one woman in my entire life who not only dated extremely handsome men, they often had the personality of a bag of rocks, and she didn't care. She just wanted something pretty to look at. Oh, that's funny. Cutie Pookie says she went through three separate corrections, got called a grammar Nazi, and had to address that, and then just closed the file. Continue being handsome is the most exhausted, loving, defeated sentence a person has ever uttered in a grocery store. She's done. She's at peace. He will say irregardless until he dies, and she has accepted this. It's great. Um, ADHD of crafts says is the third top rated comment. And they say male equivalent of it's a good thing you're pretty. You're pretty. Biddy Bean says, I had a guy I was dating say, I need two things out of three: pretty, fun, smart, and me is pretty and fun. At a dinner party the last night we spent together as a couple. I guess she wasn't that smart. Okay, next we have True Off My Chest, and it is entitled, I am no longer going to be celebrating my husband's birthday. I have been with him for 10 years, 10 birthdays. First birthday spent together, he suffered a huge loss. I comforted and supported him through it, and still tried to make him feel special and celebrated. Over time, I learned his birthdays growing up weren't great. He was one of five kids, and he hadn't had a birthday party since kindergarten. And as a teen, he was often made to babysit his younger siblings while his parents worked or went out. Yes, he has resentment issues. He needs to talk to a therapist. I've recommended that to him many times in the last decade. That said, after the first year, I decided I can save his birthday. I have gone above and beyond within my means to make each of his birthdays special, but not every single but every single one has been self-fulfilling prophecy of doom. Nothing I do is correct, nothing I do is enough. Yet I know if I didn't try, he'd be horribly hurt. This year I decided this was it. He started the next decade on a positive note, come hell or high water. So I, along with his mom, threw him a surprise 40th birthday party. I surprised him with concert tickets and he was very excited for. Uh, didn't he enjoy his party? Nope. Afterwards, he complained about the food, the cake, the date, the time, and how it was too far from his birthday and on Easter weekend. So clearly it wasn't well thought out. Complained about people who came, his sister, who he doesn't like, but they've been cordial, so my mother in law didn't think it would be a problem, and about how many people didn't show, about how long or how short people stayed, about how I spent too much money on the party and tickets and that I shouldn't have. I was blown the wang away by the audacity. I have never been so hurt since then, but being empathetic and still trying to make his actual birthday nice for him, I chose to move past it. I was going to talk to him after his birthday about how hard I was because I'm not a dick who would do it on his birthday, but after today, he's been moody, negative, and picking fights with me, despite me being cheery and more than forgiving about his piss poor attitude. I finally snapped and shouted at him. It is statistically impossible for someone to have 10 terrible birthdays in a row when you have a partner who actively tries to make them fun and special every single year. This is a choice. You are choosing to be unhappy on your birthday. You're ungrateful, and I'm over this. I know now that nothing will ever be good enough for him, so I'm no longer trying to put my energy into his birthday, not after 10 consecutive failed attempts. I don't blame you. I don't blame you when people don't appreciate things. It's a drag. Why are you still married to him? He seems like a downer. Top-rated comment is from 666. 666. So I think I have a lot of resentment. It's coming from the fact that you have uncommunicated, predetermined expectations that he isn't living up to. So now you resent him more. No, just expects him to be grateful, nice, appreciative. A silent contract he wasn't privy to, and when he didn't give you what you wanted, you resented him. No. Going the extra mile for someone who did not ask you to leads to burnout, and you resent them for it. Nothing will be good enough for him. Why does it need to be? He's his own person, and because you are trying to be responsible for his happiness, you are now such a deep seated, dignified justice is harming your relationship. Is he kind of a dick? Yeah. And can you just chill a bit and let him be without going full love bomb to complete wang you then? Absolutely. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. She's trying to do something nice to him. He could be appreciative. A modicum of appreciation. Hunting Ed says, I do not enjoy my birthdays. I'd rather it was ignored. I tell people not to bother. I mean it. I also hate surprises. I did not appreciate the one surprise party I was given. Thankfully, that was only once. My sister in law has very strong feelings that birthdays must be celebrated fully, hers particularly. My brother realized that early on, if he wanted her in his life, he'd better be thinking big, so he does. People are different, and you and your husband need to discuss this. He may be relieved that he doesn't have to pay attention to his birthday or have to worry about you making it a big deal. What is your preference as yours? Ask what you want. Are you doing for him what you want done for you? Communication is key. Then he shouldn't have complained about not having birthdays or said, I don't like birthdays. I don't want birthdays. I mean, he needs to communicate just as much, if not more. Wonderful Trash says it sounds like his birthdays are triggering for him. Are you sure he would be really upset with you if you don't make a big deal of it? I think he might be okay with it. I would like an update on this in a year. You really would. Next is what do I do? And it is entitled Not Sure How to Take this as a nanny on my last day with a wang, I guess. I'm confused. I'm so confused. They give two things, but one thing you can't even see, and the other thing makes no sense. It's like a payroll slip. Final day, and NF gives me a goodbye letter, but I'm confused. I put my 2 weeks after making a difficult decision of conversation I had with the nanny family regarding tax season and payoff, and I felt like they were pressuring me. I felt backed into a corner, so I found a job that was closer to me that pays more and then offers the Roth IRA contribution. Well, on my last day, which was this past Friday, they gave me flowers and a written letter that I didn't read until I got home. And now that I've read it, I'm a bit confused about why they put it in the letter and they didn't present this to me in person or even talk about it when I put my resignation in. Because I felt like I would have considered and now I would have reconsidered and now I'm not sure what to do. I assume they want me back and want me to reconsider staying, or is this more like a slap in the face? Like this is what you're walking away from and what you're missing out on. I hope you find this another family sort of thing. I would love some insight because my family has mixed emotions and mixed advice on this, so they're also not giving me a nanny. They're not in the nanny world, so aren't sure. So I'm assuming they offered her a bunch of money or showed her that she could make a bunch of money. Update. I sat with my thoughts and feelings and read through the comments for advice and decided to reach out for them directly to get a clearer picture of what they meant by the letter and Excel pay structure. This was their response. The letter is my way of trying to communicate that we truly want you to do what's best for you. Part of that is thinking about the bigger picture, having money when you retire and not need to work into your 80s, whether that's a nanny, massage therapist, acupuncturist, or a doula. And of course, I also really value your mental health, your health and well-being, so you can actually enjoy that stage of life. The conversation with us about the W-2 taxes was really just the how piece of it, whether that's filing individual through care.com or an LLC. I was also trying to get across that we'd look for ways to redirect some of what that money from a tax credit, child tax credit back to you. Creating benefits felt like the most natural way to approach it, and we had also planned to raise per our contract. I shared all of that because I wanted you to understand what we had been thinking through. I didn't want you to walk away feeling like we were undervaluing you. Realistically, you would still be making more with the other family, and I don't see our schedule becoming any more than 3 days a week. I value my relationship with Brittany too much to change that dynamic. I think you have a really great opportunity with better pay and a closer drive. And I just hope that increased income eventually allows you to start investing as well. I'm sorry if the letter caused any confusion. It was really my way of providing some closure on our thought process and encouraging you to think long term, just like you're doing already by investing in your education and wealth and well being. We would love to have you help out on occasion if we actually remember to plan a date. And I do think you made the right decision for yourself and your sister if that comes into play. I know you will continue to advocate for yourself and both families, and having two families share your time can actually support your growth since neither is carrying the full financial load. We are always here to support you however we can moving forward. Again, I'm sorry for any confusion I may have caused. Sounds like they wanted the best for her. That turtle touch says it feels like the boyfriend who tells you after the breakup he was totally shopping for engagement rings and just didn't tell you. um, yeah, too little, too late. And yeah, they're not. I mean, I can see where they got coming from, but maybe went about it the wrong way. They should have just said, "We want to give you a raise, blah 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 blah. If you stay." They don't seem to have any ill will at all, so they're not jerks. Next is entitled is from Oh No Consequences, entitled "Reviewer Got Caught Trying to Scam a Coffee Shop and is Upset She Had to Pay." Bonus response from the shop included. It's from Entitled Reviews, and it says, "Who among us has never tried to scam their favorite coffee shop?" Do you want to see it? I mean, I'm going to read it anyway. Um, I used to be a loyal customer of my favorite coffee shop until they banned me. I tried to sign up for their offer on their website, get your first bag free, start a new subscription, and receive a 20 ounce or 10-ounce bag of beans for free. Given how many times I've purchased from them, I recommended their products to everyone I know and bought gifts to help others become loyal customers. I was excited about the offer. Their coffee is unique and exceptional. To test out the free bags, I tried subscribing with a different email address. Some might say I was exploiting the deal, but wouldn't you be tempted um, to try? The system flagged the orders as coming from the same address, name, and card details. When I inquired why my subscription was canceled, I was told due to my attempts to use multiple accounts. I asked if I could just get the one free bag and subscribe for the duration of the time. I was instead accused of theft and told that the company, despite having several locations, is small and facing various issues. Yeah, don't try to scam people. To make matters worse, I still had to pay for the free bag. I was told I'd be refunded, which doesn't make any sense to me and still hasn't happened. Their approach to customer service is deeply flawed. They need to retraining to understand that people are curious about trying all their flavors and that loyal customers should be valued, not accused. Well, this at least this experience has pushed me to find different, better coffee. Sure, Jan. Uh, Sorry to hear you don't like how we have handled this situation. We are a pretty small business, so when someone is trying to scam us, we have to take action. You even openly admitted you're trying to take advantage of the deal we are doing, which is wild in itself. To say that say what you want about our company, but we have responded to your numerous emails explaining that you cannot just keep creating new email addresses trying to game the system. You literally made 5 different orders with 5 different email addresses the same day, and we aren't going to let you do that. Oh my goodness. We would have refunded your money, but you put a stop payment on the charge, which we are then charged a penalty for. You aren't a great human, and our company will be better off without your patronage. And so will the next one for sure. Holy cow. That's insanity. I just want to ask a question. Says, I will never understand claiming someone something is your favorite and then trying to take advantage of them. The owner was so professional too. Siren Stitchwitch answers, I have a favorite nail polish that is a small business, and I keep telling people about them all the time. I've given away a bottle like I like less, or bought a bottle specifically for a person with the hope that they too will then start buying from them. I asked for business cards to be shipped with some of my polish so I could give them out when people ask about my beautiful colors. I never once asked for a discount or anything. It never occurred to me. So weird to have a product from a small business and expect favors for buying their product. Small businesses do not generally have huge profits. They literally cannot afford someone stealing from them like that entitled terrible person. Yes, exactly. Industrious says sometimes it's okay to fire a customer. Hmm. Stud said I had to do that. Even got the owner's approval. I used to work at Domino's, had this customer who would order just before closing every single time. He fell asleep and couldn't be reached. And he was on the outskirts of our delivery zone, so that was a half an hour trip at minimum, assuming the only road to him wasn't under construction. It was it was when he was still allowed to order. We were out of the food he ordered weird crap. The driver's gas, time that we could have spent getting the store broken down, which kept us a little later than our time. After about the fifth time, the franchise gave us the okay to deny him service. That's weird. Why would you do that? Their top rated comment is from Little Miss Sabua Frere. And they say, not nearly enough consequences happening here. Raina Iyer says, in fairness, someone telling me that I'm not a great human and that their company would be better off without my patronage would sting. Although I don't think I'm as shameless as OP despite my flaws. Accomplished says she did lose access to great coffee. My son and his wife use a little coffee shop that they don't take credit cards, so I don't use them. If they took credit cards, I would be glad to use them. I would even pay the fee. But mildly infuriating. Lifted truck plus Lambo plus parking lot equals bad time. Lifted trucks probably shouldn't be anywhere near dense parking lots. A lot of people are skeptical as to whether this is AI staged or asked why the lady didn't back off the car. This is a dense parking lot with cars that have dash cams in Sentry mode everywhere. Also, her truck was in two-wheel drive, and you can see the back tire spinning as she tries to reverse off the car. Her truck is stuck. She probably has an open differential and can't back off the car. She may have a four-wheel drive mode, but she doesn't have to know how to use it in the heat of the moment. Backy uppy. Backy uppy. You are about to see a crash, just warning you. Jeez. I don't think this has anything to do with the parking lot. This just has to do with bad driving. How did you even manage to do that? I think my sound turned off again. That's really annoying me. I don't hear any now. I guess it's on, but there's no sound on there. Maybe there was no sound. I don't know. Was there any sound? I didn't see any sound. I didn't see any sound. I heard no sound on that one. Top Kitchen says, I bet she has like $50,000 in property damage coverage. Um, Locust of Beard says, yep, when the coverage ends, it's when the lawsuits begin. Not in my state. Zadkin says, if they keep lifting trucks higher, they'll get to a point where they just miss the entire kid, miss the kid entirely. True. Big Mama Snickle says, driving so fast in a parking lot, she was flying. There was no excuse to be going that fast. Not Hasley says, exactly this. She was flying through that parking lot. Not even though the Lambo is low, when you're far enough back, you can see it. Granted, she was on her phone. Guarantee she was on her phone. Probably. Next, we have AIO or Am I Overreacting? Next, we have Am I Overreacting? Entitled AIO for thinking it wasn't a big deal to accept my friend's boyfriend's Facebook request. So my friend's boyfriend added me on Facebook and I accepted without even thinking about it twice. Yeah, why wouldn't you? To me, it really didn't seem like a big deal. I just assumed he added me because I'm her friend. But when she found out, she got really upset and said it's weird that I accepted, even though he was the one who sent the request. Now there's tension between us, and I'm confused because I didn't think it was that serious. And I overreacted by feeling like she's making this a bigger deal than it needs to be. No, nope. She's jealous and immature and does not need to be in a relationship. I'm friends with most of my husband's brothers and sisters, sister-in-laws, brothers-in-law, all of them, as my own. That's just silly, and I have been since we were dating. It's just silly. It's silly. Um, Pixel Tweaker says, I'll just have him remove you." um, that's not going to go well for her. Why is there somebody in my house? Hi again. Are you? He's working down the road. That's why he keeps coming to my house to use the bathroom. I'm his porta potty. Dark Star says, unless she actually was just planning to log into an account and do it herself, I wouldn't put it past her. She sounds 12. Exactly. Next, we have best of Redditor updates. My brother tried to pull a fast one on his wife, and she did a reverse, and I'm laughing watching him scramble. This is from True Off My Chest. And I'm not sure we want to read this one. Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Never mind. Original post April 9th, 2026. My brother, fake name Dick, and his wife Anna have been having serious marital problems, which is 99% Dick's fault. Anna is a stay at home mom, goes to college online, and has a side business with an MLM. But whatever she has made, some new friends seems to be happier. Before they had kids, Dick and Anna had a solid marriage. Anna told me after the kids came, their marriage slowly went downhill, and now it's on life support. Anna does everything for the kids. Dick wants a medal for watching the kids for 30 minutes while Anna cooks dinner. He's more than capable of taking care of them, but he chooses to let Anna do everything if he can get away with it. The MLM Anna is involved with is having a big convention this week. Anna should not be involved in an MLM. Those are terrible. Just saying. I'm not saying Dick's not a dick because he probably is, but Anna should not be involved in an MLM. We are locals, but Anna decided to do a staycation and is staying at a hotel near the convention with her friends. That's not a staycation. Staycation means you stay in your house. This has been planned for months. Anna told Dick to take time off work and made it very clear she needed a break, and this would be a really good opportunity to network. Over Christmas, she asked him if he got approved for the time off, and he said, yeah, yeah, yeah. I told her he is going to mess this up for you, and she told me he better not. She called me in tears, and Dick texted her that an emergency had come up at work and he would not be able to take time off because he never asked for it. He had to put in a long day Tuesday and would be flying out on Wednesday. He was so sorry and would make it up to her. How? How are you going to make that up to her? How? I thought she was going to have a breakdown. She could barely talk. I told her to calm down and finish packing and pick her kids up from school. I said I would watch them until Dick got home. She did not want me in the middle, and I told her, "Wang Dick." We've never been close, and I did not give a damn how he reacted. I watched the kids until Dick strolled in at 10 p.m. and told him he was a selfish piece of crap on my way out the door. He blasted my phone, and I put him on D&D. I talked with Anna yesterday, and he blasted her phone as well. She ended up telling him they would either attend marriage counseling or see a divorce lawyer, is his choice, but he better stop calling her unless it was an emergency with the kids or she was calling to talk to them. He cooled his jets after being told that. He stopped by my house and I spoke to him through the Ring camera and he asked me what he was supposed to do with the kids. You're supposed to stay home with them and take care of them like you promised you would. I asked him if he even bothered to request a time off from work and he would not answer me. He said he had an important business trip. He said Anna wouldn't give the contact info for her babysitters and asked me if I would watch the kids. I told him to get the Wang off my property with his BS. If he were any kind of parent, he would already have the contact info for the babysitter. Exactly. Anna prepped meals for the kids, organized all their clothes for the week, and left a detailed itinerary of their schedule. What else does he need? Our parents and his in laws won't return his calls. All of this for him. He is flying solo this week and had to cancel his alleged business trip. Anna says she will get to the bottom of that when she gets back home. I hope she has the best time with her friends. I hope Dick does not get a moment of peace. No one is buying his lies or coming to his rescue, and I laugh when I think about it. Good bro. Man, even the in-laws and the parents are in on it. Original Cranberry says, how old are the kids? In their fight, the kids will be impacted. That Dick will not feed him. He needs to learn this, but with children getting messed up in between. OOP says the kids are 4 and 6 and they will be fed. He is capable of taking care of them and he will take good care of them. Anna is in close contact with them. The issue is he tried to sabotage her staycation because he's selfish. Collective Clothing says, I think he was just trying. I think he wasn't just trying to sabotage. It sounds like he had some kind of side action planned as well. Yeah, exactly. OOP says, I believe he's very capable of that. That is a whole other can of worms Anna has chosen not to currently pursue. If he was planning some side action, it won't be happening this week. Unless he brings the side action to home. That happens sometimes. The Intersection Novel says, I'd advise Anna to consult a divorce lawyer regardless. And OOP says, I see the stump being the final straw. And she says, at least Anna knows she's got support, and OP is absolute boss for being an awesome bestie. I hope I'd be getting their favorite snacks and candies every week for several months. Thank you for ass covering. Holy crap, Dick is incompetent. Dick, I'm sorry. Did he forget he's the dad to these kids and not just a sperm donor? OOP says he thinks because he's the breadwinner, that means his work is done. Our dad is nothing like that, and I told Anna to keep me posted, and I'll keep you guys posted. Lady McGuffin says she'll get better behavior from him as an ex-husband, with the courts mandating his parental effort under pain of contempt. There's no way he requested time off, and I would love to see what a judge would do with that sort of thing during proceedings. Yeah, me too. There's no way he asked for time off. OOP says, I don't believe for a second he requested time off. As crazy as it sounds, he would probably be more involved father if they got a divorce. Update April 13, 2026. So that's how long after? 4 days later. I got a lot of message for updates, so I'm going to leave it in the comments. I'm going to start with the good ones. First, Anna is going to divorce Dick. Thanks to a family member, she was able to get an appointment with a lawyer this week. She comes highly recommended. When Anna came home on Sunday, Dick was waiting with a suitcase and said it was his turn to take a vacation, and he'd left. No arguing, he just left. In his warped mind, his silence is meant to be a punishment to Anna, but he is just making her life easier. While he's gone, she's going to be making copies of all the financial documents she can find. She hopes he really teaches her a lesson and stays gone. The house is a wreck. She moved all of Dick's crap from the master bedroom into his office. All his crap is laying on the floor. You can't even walk in there. There's not even room for a twin air mattress. The kids enjoyed their time with Dick. They were asking for him today and want to spend time with him. Anna called him and he did answer and spoke with the kids and told them he was on a business trip. He is going to file for joint cus She is going to file for joint custody. If he does not want 50 custody, he will have to turn down on the record. She also found out Thursday when he was supposed to be watching the kids, he was tagged in a picture at a bar playing pool. So much for working. He did not even untag himself, which shows he really does not give a wang. He doesn't love Anna or like her, but he must hate her to act like that. I don't get it. He absolutely disgusts me. Bye. See you tomorrow. We're watching the kids tomorrow while they're having a garage sale in the yard. We had a whole discussion about it last night. It's not a garage sale. It's in the yard. Why are you calling it a garage sale? Picture negative is the first top rated comment, and they say Dick was waiting with a suitcase and said it was her time to his turn to take a vacation. Uh, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Responsible use answers bold choice, leaving all your crap with someone who just majorly pissed off. Yeah, that's true. Ziggy Stardust says, you just know that Dick is going to scream and cry that he was wanged over by the courts, and when Anna gets it all or most of the custody, he has to pay, and he has to pay child support. Plaird says custody and the house. And Fire says, and then he'll quit his job and get something minimum wage just to spite her. um, Caramel asks a good question. Don't courts typically take deliberate underemployment into account? Chief Bearclaw says, a long time ago, I was working at a place and a guy joined us. A few weeks later, he was gone. Turns out he owed child support, and they finally found his new job to garnish his wages, so he just quit. Scum everywhere. Wow. Tuna stuffed potato says, sounds like Dick is another loser who treats having a wife and children like an achievement item to check off a list rather than, like the love of his life and his children like normal human beings. It sounds like he doesn't even like any of them, to the point where you have to wonder if he's a sociopath. I'm so glad women have the ability to support themselves without men now. Yeah, hopefully that lasts. That's all I'm going to say on that. Um, then we have Made Me Smile, and it is entitled 14-year-old Georgia cancer survivor skips Disney trip and uses his Make-A-Wish to feed 300 plus people experiencing homelessness. What a good little boy. What a good little boy. There's more. When Jude Baker was 12, life changed overnight. The middle schooler from Somerville, Georgia, was diagnosed with Ewing sarcoma, a rare and aggressive cancer that attacks bones and the tissue around them. What followed was a 2-year fight that included surgery to remove a tumor and a year of chemotherapy and all of the physical and emotional weight that comes with treatment at such a young age. Jude has been open about how hard that period was. In interviews, he said the scariest part wasn't what people might expect. For him, chemotherapy itself was the toughest challenge. It left him exhausted, in pain, and often isolated from friends and normal teenage life. But during the hardest days, Jude was paying attention to other people who were struggling too. After finishing treatment, Jude rang the bell at the hospital to mark the end of chemo. He is now 14 and in remission. Because he has faced life-threatening illness, he became eligible for a wish through the Make-A-Wish Foundation, which grants special experiences to kids aged 3 to 17 with critical conditions. I have a cousin that went on a Make-A-Wish with her friend. I think they went to Disney World. It's a good thing, especially for kids who are like literally going to die. It might be the last time they ever get to do anything. And those memories are important with their families. Now I'm going to cry. Most kids pick a trip to a theme park, a chance to meet a favorite athlete or magician, or a gift they've always wanted. Jude had a different idea. While going to appointments, he noticed people experiencing homelessness near the medical centers. That stuck with him. He told his family and the Make-A-Wish team that if he got one wish, he wanted to use it to help those individuals. What a good little kid. Make-A-Wish Georgia coordinators later said the community service wishes are not something they usually offer. Jude didn't want to have a backup wish. It was the only thing he asked for. He told the organizers I got my version of uh, hell, and others. I want to help others who are in their own version. What a good kid. uh, Hugo the Bear says, "Can we send this kid to Disney?" And then he's got to go fund me. Um, Heart of Osiris says, "For real, Disney needs to pick up on this and treat this kid like a king." Yeah, no kidding. He needs all of the Disney. He needs all. Oh, there's a very shaggy cow on my screen. Yeah, he deserves all of the Disneys. That no, that's the drone. That's a drone. You can see another drone in the background of the photo. I don't know what this shaggy cow is. It's cute though. All right, that's all I got for the week. I will be back on Tuesday. Um, have a great week. This is the last. Next week will be the last week that I'll be doing 4 sessions per week. We're going to go down to 3. I don't know if that's going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. There are all kinds of possibilities. But it will not be Monday because I have the kids tomorrow and I'll have them on Monday, or at least a little while. Might be later on Monday, they said. But maybe we'll have a picnic. Maybe we'll do a picnic. I got burgers already, so I could do that. I got burgers and buns already. So I'll give my little ones um, burgers outside. I just have to come up. Oh, I have potatoes. I can make potato salad. I'm good. I'm good. Potato salad, chips, burgers. Sounds like party, doesn't it? All right, I'm gonna have a party. I hope you guys have a party too. Have a good Memorial Day, and I will see you on Tuesday. Have a good weekend. Have a good long weekend. Bye. Love all my biddies. Bye, biddies. Bye.